out like that. So it looks like we are actually going to be heading into game 1, which is going to be Splatzone's Inkblot. Yeah.
Yes. Splatzone's Inkblot, I'll go ahead and call it my favorite on Inkblot. I think it's really Inkblot's best mode. Some people will go so far as to say it's the only good mode. Looking at it right now, both sides electing to bring that Splatling that we were talking about. Very similar comps. The only difference, really, one choosing Splatter Shot, one going double armor with that end zap.
Yeah, no, the double armor is going to make a pretty big difference. And also, will that splashdown? You know, we saw PK using it well yesterday. Also, just before we get to the match, I am a little nostalgic for this game mode because of it being used at E3.
Oh,
yeah.
That is, yeah. Well, we'll go into that story a little bit later. The bubbles coming out here. N-Zap coming in as well. Good push up there. That jump doesn't look like it's going to get punished. Lands pretty safely, but Control pretty solidly shifting back. They haven't actually taken the zone. That Heavy actually, the Heavy and the Sprinkler teaming up to do their job. Now PK rushing in, picks up the kill there on the right side of zone. Going to shift back over to the left and take that. Wisely not running into that suction bomb. I've done that a few times myself. Now pivoting back over. They've called one out to the left. Going to send a couple bubbles over there. PK pivots back to the right to meet the other threat of bubbles that are coming from this way. Doing a good job getting this lockout at the moment.
Yeah, basically doing a really good job. And as you saw, PK goes to make a move. The Tri-Slasher very closely in tow. That Tri-Slash just has such good awareness of what his teammates are doing. So good shout outs to him. I'm going to probably keep drooling over his play for the rest of the set just because that's why I want to see it some more. But we do see JellyBobs putting up some specials right now. Bubble Blower going down, Stingray going down. They have lost one member. They lost a second one, but now it is a 2v2. But oh no!
Mage with the triple. That's going to be a game-ending triple too. It looked like they finally had something on the left side of that raised plat, but Mage had actually worked behind them, got the kill, and I don't think the other team's Forge knew that that was there, because you saw facing the other way, even with armor, not able to win that one-on-one engagement, and then crashing in for that final pincer. Well, I can see why you'd like Dredgelords. That was a very strong display.
Very convincing. It's almost hard to believe that they're down 0-1. There must have been one of those teams that just slipped in.
Up against,
But that means that we have even better matches to see in later rounds of this Swiss bracket. Now, after that first game, like, what can JellyBobs take from that?
So I think that JellyBobs, it wasn't a comp issue. We talked how similar the comps were. I think they started to funnel in, and I don't think they paid enough attention to their bubbles. You saw that one was all the way out to the right, and then the bubbles came on left side of zone, and the Forge wasn't going to be able to make that happen by itself. And I would like to see them put a little bit more emphasis to their specials if they're not going to be the ones pushing up and making the 1v1s that we saw, of course, Dredgelords able to do. They have to put more emphasis, like you said, on the specials to get back in. So they take a minute, kind of coordinate those a little better. They had 2 bubble weapons. They were there to be had, but just putting your eggs in that basket and crashing in that way.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the oomph behind a lot of these comps that run two of the same special for the purpose of running two of the same special, they live or die off of the ability for those specials to work. For the most part in this game, there aren't a lot of weapons, there aren't a lot of comps where running two of the same special has the main weapons work out that well, because of the way that in Splatoon you can't just you can't customize your sub and special weapons. They have to come with the package, and they're designed in a way to make it so you have to think about team comps like this. So in the case of Double Bubble, we know the Splattershot Pro itself is not the best main weapon. You know, it can get kills, it's accurate, but it doesn't paint a lot. It's not very mobile, and the amount of range that it gets is not much more than the weapons that it's kind of competing with like Splattershot and Zap, and now like 52 Deco, Rapid, Slash, all that kind of stuff. It's the kit that's good. And Heavy Deco, in sort of the same vein, it's a good weapon, but it's a long-range weapon, and long-range weapons in Splatoon 2, as we all know, put a lot of strain on your team comp to make up for the inability for you to be a close-range weapon. So having the Splattershot Pro and the Heavy Deco on the same team definitely puts a lot of pressure on the other two weapons to really perform as frontliners. And if they don't perform as frontliners, or you don't do the job that you're there to do to make up for them having to do that, it's going to fall apart pretty quick. So you need to make sure that when you're running like double bomb rush, double bubble, stuff like that, you really need to make sure that you're going to be executing your plan pretty flawlessly. Didn't happen game 1, so let's see if they maybe change up their comp, use something a little bit more free flow, flexible in this. Oh my goodness.
Flash Blaster and Umbrella, and I was about to say I don't think we'll be seeing any of the Splatlings in this game for the reason you listed, and lo and behold, here we have it. The Rapid Blaster, has it gotten touched from day 1?
There's been a few changes to Special Gain, and I think there might have been some kind of like very minor technical change to the way one of the mechanics
for
work.
all intents and purposes, it's been the same juggernaut that we've seen from the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest change, honestly, has been the recent Splat Bomb change. It makes Splat Bomb Rush a little bit weaker.
Oh, what a great
that's
line
cool.
to shoot it up there. 53. So let's talk about this top left area. A lot of people don't like this map and mode for this exact reason. If you can get pressure up here, you can keep jumping people down because the Rainmaker alone is oftentimes enough to shut down the counter push as you're trying to come up and defend that. Then it's just a matter of watching the other team make a mistake. Then you come in, and it looks like they're actually going to be pivoting this to the right. No, now they're pivoting back left. I like it, the flexibility to go through there. That's actually a pretty all right trade if they're able to get it up to the top.
There we go. No.
Spider not able to get up, just barely missing the ink. They might still be able to get it up there. Mage coming in with a good punish, switching back over to the splatter shot. Gonna pull off here and try to gain a little bit of height, but the splatter shot just not quite enough range to really take advantage of that. The bubbles are coming out now. Splashdown does come down very timely, but going to get taken down there. This fall down still trying to put as much pressure as they can, and it's not truly gone yet. They managed to get a third one back, and it looks like they're going to be able to run this up to the top with a defender in tow.
So they are able to get the Rainmaker up here into this power position that we talked about earlier. Specials going down, a lot of explosives right now. The Rainmaker is very close to getting knocked out, and even if they don't knock it out, this could be a game-winning push. 17 is a very good number to get to, and it looks like the Rainmaker might still keep pushing. It's a 2v1 situation. The Splatter Shot Pro is not really in the best position to defend this. He could get the long-range pick. He gets one assisted kill, and he tries to put pressure on the Rainmaker. More teammates from Dredgelords are showing up, so this is going to be very difficult if they keep getting these kills. 3v3 situation, Rainmaker getting close, and he's taken out.
3 down. The last one there is Squip, who's going to try to make some stuff happen here, clean it up, and finally is going to get taken down there. This should be the end of this push. I don't think anyone's got here, and they are not using any beacon weapons. But right there, we talked about it. All of that was so long, drained so much time off the clock, and now the Rapid's back to just continue this punish, and it's still up here, not jumping it off there, not being quick enough, not trying to either let it reset naturally or take it back to the middle. Means they're still going to be in this position, and it's so hard to take it out.
Yeah, no, this has been absolutely merciless from Dredgelords right now, pushing up onto this area. And even though all these like specials are going off and they're kind of picking up the Rainmaker and they're kind of able to sort of defend, well, as I say that, they get taken out. Even if they don't get wiped here, this is wasting so much time. By the time they do get a chance to push, it might be too late to actually make something of it. But Dredgelords is still pushing, getting more kills. Rainmaker getting kills. Rapid up here in this top left corner, being able to shoot through the grates and basically be untouchable by the comp of JellyBobs. And it looks like if he gets some teammates in here, which he does, they might be able to pop the Rainmaker and keep this pressure up. Less than 2 minutes left in the game, so over half the game has been spent with this Rainmaker in this position. This is starting to get very dire for JellyBobs. They need to do something about this now, not later. All right, good. They play the Rainmaker. That is an intentional suicide. You jump off the map with the Rainmaker, respawns it back to the center of the map. It gives them some breathing room. Now they need to do a good job of painting the map. They have a shooter. Clash Blaster's okay at painting the map, but no, they're getting killed right now. This is not good. Dredgelords is still putting on this relentless pressure. Armor goes down, Rainmaker gets picked up. There's only one person here to try to stop this, but he's not going to be able to with Dredgelords' teammates being able to stop that, and the Rainmaker is actually going to push mid right now. They don't have to push left. They don't have to go for the game-winning push. They just need to use up time.
When you're trying to push out, when you're trying to do that, you have to be aware of certain danger zones. When you're trying to come back there, you know that they're going to try to put someone to get that cheeky kill right there. You have to account for that. Learning the positions in the map where those sharks like to lay and where they can lay, so important. That was one of the easiest triples that I think Squip has probably ever gotten, and it was because just timing the play and not knowing where the threats can come from. It's not enough to know to try to meet the threat as it's coming. You have to preemptively stop it. Now it looks like they're finally getting it to the middle, but once again, here it is, the Tri-Slosher. Squip, let's go.
Man, Squip is definitely getting a Medal of Honor from us after this commentary is over. Now it looks like he's going to pick up the Rainmaker. He is pushing up. PK is doing some kind of work back in his base. Oh, no, he was actually retreating with the Rainmaker a little bit. Somewhat smart, making sure that he stays with his team, able to not just die and give up the Rainmaker. There's 25 seconds left in the game, so it looks like they're going to try to camp this out. Dredgelords does have a 4v2 situation in the middle of the map now. 19 seconds left. JellyBobs needs to do something soon. The Brella is trying to make some kind of offensive pressure over here from the right side of the map, but he is forced back by the superior numbers of Dredgelords. He is going to try to go for another flank, but is it too little too late? Rainmaker does get taken out. Some specials going down. JellyBobs desperately trying to get up here. One member is taken out. Another member is taken out. Someone actually jumps away to try to stay alive, but no, that is going to be it. No one there to pick up the Rainmaker.
Peacing out there saying, all right, let's head to game 3. Not a lot I'm going to be able to do in this 4v1 situation. But the positions on this map, I know from watching your videos. You are a huge advocate of that right side and the flank and holding down that right side. You made an entire video about it. First of all, round of applause, 22 KA for Squib.
Oh
with
my
only
gosh.
3 armors. You know a lot of those were earned. Look at that. Look on the left side. They're happy. They're happy, and they know it. Clap your hands. But tell us about the right side, why that's such an important spot, and why flanks come so easy from there.
Right. So basically, for those unfamiliar, the video that I made, it wasn't like the most high-level match ever. It was just a good example of why the right side of main stage is good. But basically, the problem with main stage is that you want to take the middle, and you don't want to worry too much about the flanks. But those flanks are worrisome. So what you do is you pick the easiest side to defend a flank from. You put yourself in a position where you can jump into the action as soon as you need to stop watching that. And your teammate focuses on mid and watching the areas the limited areas where the flanks can come from. So by getting up in that top right position, sort of where getting into one of the addicts where we saw that Brella go at the end of the game, puts your teammates in a much easier position, especially if you have a painting weapon or something that has some kind of long-range presence. You can watch the flanks, you can jump down and help as soon as you need to. And it basically makes, if you've ever played main stage and you're trying to get through mid and you just feel like there's always a flank coming, you don't know where they're coming from, and it just gets overwhelming, being able to just lock off a part of the map makes it so much easier for your teammates so they don't have that feeling. I kind of compare it to in real-time strategy games like StarCraft, for example. There are some times where there's some strategies that are really difficult to deal with that you can just deal with by putting units in places that make the enemy team have to kind of funnel the enemy player to funnel their forces to a certain part of the map. The strategy immediately just becomes easier to deal with because you know where it's coming from. Kind of the same thing here. If you just kind of position your anchors in the right spots that it kind of like inherently blocks off flanks without taking away your ability to help, it just makes the situation so much easier. And the Brella going for one of those attic positions was a good idea, but unfortunately it was the end of the game. They needed to get overtime. You know, the Rainmaker was there in the middle of the map. It was just not well timed, but that was a good tactic to do on that map.
Kelp Dome, I know a lot of our viewers very familiar with this one. This is one of my favorite towers because I love how much you have to really make these pushes. That back garden area here at the top and bottom of your screen, top left, bottom right. You see those 2 checkpoints there, they're so wonderfully placed because it's like if you get to that checkpoint, it becomes very difficult to get around.
Yeah.
And then you have an entire battlefield there in the back where stingrays can come in, bomb rushes, you can get lots of sharks there. It's always fun to see the contest for that. And of course, this wide open middle that a lot of people do know.
Yeah, no, definitely a big improvement from Splat 1, having the checkpoint system force pivotal battles like that to make the tower the interesting parts of tower control last a little bit longer. Right now we see a very neutral situation in the middle of the map, a little bit more green paint than pink, but nothing too crazy right now. Dredgelords trying to push up. They do get 1 kill. There is a revenge kill, so we're looking at 3-on-3, but Dredgelords has multiple specials right now. Stingray going down. Members pushing up. Only 1 person alive in the middle of the map right now for JellyBobs. I think that might be an effective full wipe as Dredgelord starts to push up. This Tri-Slasher looks like he's going to get in a position to do some splash damage over the wall and help with those burst bombs. There is a Stingray on tower. Now, something that you really want to do when you push on this map is get the tower to the right to that second checkpoint and then have someone riding the tower use a Stingray while teammates push up and make sure that they can't get flanked. And oh my gosh, the Tri-Slasher right now is causing
Squib!
Chaos right now as Dredgelords is pushing up. There's a Stingray we talked about. Teammates in position to make sure that Stingray doesn't get flanked. Right here, the NZAP is trying to get in position, but no, his teammates block that off. PK very aware of the possible ways that they could lose this pressure right now and making sure it doesn't happen. Another Stingray goes down, and this is not stopping. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, over.
Masterful, surgical, all the nice words that I can say about that game, I say right now. That was if you wanted to draw up how you would do it. They did everything we talked about. They had people in position to block the flank. They rode the Stingray at the right time. They moved back over. They put the sloshing machine where it could fire up over and put pressure on that grate. So they had the right person riding the tower. Well executed from start to finish. I see why you fell in love with this team.
Yeah. No, these guys, I really like watching these guys. So very good show from Dredgelords. Once again, we saw 2 3-0s from these guys on stream. So, you know, something about going to LANs as well is, you know, you go to these LANs, you play, you do okay. You go to these LANs, play, you do okay. Having a few of these moments like this really gives teams a lot of confidence.
Oh, absolutely.
I tell this story to, I kind of talk about this to a lot of teams that I see do well at LANs. Basically, that Strange Approach got its boost from going to a LAN and doing well. You know, we had a pretty disastrous grand finals that I don't even think about, but the rest of that tournament was like a tournament of our lives. And basically, we performed well, and then we didn't perform well. And we took the motivation of, like, we did well, and we don't want to not do well like that, and we kind of took that motivation of not wanting to just let our momentum stop.
Right.
And basically, it didn't just end at the LAN. It did,
Right.
We didn't get defeated by that grand finals. We kept pushing. And basically, Stranger Poach went from a team that was like kind of getting top 8 sometimes. During this Showdown Splat series, we actually got 5th place every single time that we entered anything that wasn't Turf War, and you needed top 4 to qualify. And we went from that to basically we got 2nd place in every tournament that we had a full roster in for like a solid month and a half.
Yeah.
You know, didn't win any, but it was really nice. It was really nice improvement, and basically most of our motivation came from doing well at a LAN like this. So for teams like Dredgelords, take this fun that you're having and turn that into something.
Absolutely.
Like when you guys get home, don't just be nostalgic about the LAN. Like actually practice, actually turn this into something, because teams that can do stuff like this can do more if they actually are persistent about getting better with it. And then for teams like JellyBobs, you know, that didn't win this particular one, just keep at it, because the more persistent you are, you're just going to get those big motivating tournaments that make you say like, wow, I can do this. Like we can do this. And it turns into really long-term just motivation and confidence, and it's really awesome. So basically, to every team that performs like Dredgelords is doing right now, take this momentum, and all the teams that aren't, keep at it, because you're going to get it too.
Move them out, move them in. Rawhide. We are going to take a short